exactly what Prof has mentioned. Carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide from power plant and vehicles. All right, yes, the explanation is there. Yes, another question is, what is sustainable land use practice? Most sustainable land use practice. Anybody? Can you, okay. Can you say it from there? Okay.
Sustainable land use practice. This is defined as using land like for let's say agriculture and other let's say using land not to the extent where you have to exhaust the materials on the land.
Yes, very well. Very good. Yes, example is agroforestry, yeah, promoting the biodiversity. Yes, very well. Sustainable land use practice, reduce what? Deforestation. Number three, what is the most significant threat to biodiversity and how can we address it? Most significant threat to biodiversity and how can we address it? All right, so the answer is here. Okay, all right. Habitat destruction and fragmentation are the most significant threat to biodiversity. But of course, it's somebody's citation, so I would like to.
Said something last week, and I found it interesting. They put population first. So they are promoting this idea where 8 billion people now on Earth. So the population itself is what is the biggest threat.
I understand why is population should also come, yes, in the forefront. The reason is because we can say, yes, we have witnessed, or Nigeria has witnessed an increase in temperature due to what? Global warming. And we all know what temperature does to everything. Expansion, right? This might also have a link to what? The sea level rise and so on. So, but if you look at the increase in the past 20 years, it's not the same as what the projected increase. Why? Because we're expecting more population, right? Yes. So population should come first before this actually. All right, another question. These are some of the reasons also for habitat and yeah, destruction and fragmentation. All right, another question is how can individuals contribute to reducing plastic pollution in the environment? We all know what those plastic does to our society, our environment. These are things that do not easily be treated, right? They will keep changing to. All right. Okay.
Thank you, Shafiq, for this wonderful presentation. I'm sure. Thank you for this good presentation. I'm sure by now we have learned something about climate change and its disastrous effects. My name is Dr. Munir. I am Director of Center for Energy and Climate Change here at Yale University. Already Shafiu has shed light on climate change, and he has talked a lot on climate change and their effects. So I just want to here to just bring to our attention some of the disastrous effects of climate change, particularly here in Nigeria. I don't know, is anybody from Lagos here? You are from Lagos, huh? Lagos. I have a question for you. Do you know, like in 2050, Lagos could be completely submerged underwater? Actually, this is not a joke. It's backed by science. It's a possibility. Lagos could be completely submerged underwater by the year 2050. And this is due to the effect of temperature rise. And this trend is global. By 2050, around 650 million people will live in cities that are completely submerged under water. So you can see our current leaders, actually, they are not the ones they may not even be around. My point is, you should take a leading role in pushing leaders to take action on climate change issues, because all these disastrous effects, you and your children, you are the ones to witness it. I want to go to another state. Who is from Borno? Aisha, you're from Borno. You're from Borno? Don't be afraid. Borno is not sinking, but it has its own problem. There is Lake Chad in Borno State, Borno and Chad. From 1970 to date, Lake Chad lost 90% of its water body. 90% is just 10% that remain. And in effect, what this causes, it means there is loss of agricultural production, there is a loss of water usage, and all this, they have their own consequences on rising conflict due to resource shortages. And even Boko Haram can be attributed to the effects of Lake Chad shrinkage. So you can see, no matter where you are in Nigeria, you are not safe from the effects of climate change. In most northern Nigeria, desertification is encroaching. States on the border Sahara Desert, such as Katsina State, Yobe, Borno itself, and Zamfara, the desertification is really encroaching. What this also means is agriculture is no longer, or is really decreasing the agricultural production in those areas. Farmlands have been lost and have been have been continued to be lost in these states. And also there is a prediction in the next 25 years, almost 60% of farmlands in northern Nigeria might be gone. So this is also a scary statistics, which is backed by science. When you come to middle belt and some southern parts of Nigeria, there is another problem of afforestation in those regions. It is estimated also that more than 50% of these forests are not, in the last 50 years, are not there. Like each year we lost from 350 to 400,000 hectares of land, hectares of forest. And
Projection.
I believe Dr. Shapiro already mentioned the contribution of forests to climate change. Forest absorbs carbon dioxide, so it helps in reducing the amount of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. And lastly, I want to mention about heat waves. We all know temperature is rising. It's rising for the last 50 years at an alarming rate. And not much is being done to contain this rise. I'm sure you have seen in the news in 2021 in Canada, 1,000 people lost their lives in just one day due to heat waves. And what happened in Canada that day is temperature reached 50 degrees Celsius. It has never been this high in Nigeria. So the scary part of this is those people that lost their lives, 1,000 people that in developed country, mostly elderly. And you can imagine in Canada in the summer, all houses they have air conditioning, they have lights, but still 1,000 people lost their lives when temperature is 50 degrees Celsius. So what I want to point out is, now, what if, and it may happen even very soon, if this temperature rises to 50 degrees Celsius in Nigeria? I'm sure you know that not a lot of people have luxury of air conditioning at their homes. Even if you have, there will be no light. So if 1,000 people lost their lives in Canada, this is scary for Nigeria. I am not the prophet of doom. I am not saying these facts to scare you, but they are the current reality. These are signs, and this is the purpose is to wake you up, and we are all responsible for climate change, and we should all be responsible for advocating for change. Currently, Nigeria is not doing enough. in addressing and tackling these issues. All this flooding that is happening, they are the result of climate change. But we are just responding to them. Like we are just trying to adapt. In 2022, that 32 out of 36 states of Nigeria experienced flooding, a deadly flooding. It displaced 1.6 million Nigerians from their homes. And this becomes just normal occurrence. Like we don't care, we just know that each year there will be flooding, some people will die, and we just move on and just wait for the next year. We are not doing enough to tackle this important aspect. And lastly, I want to talk about food prices. We all know that food prices are going up. In fact, the inflation on food, such as rice, have gone more than 100%. You may be told this is just politicians. You just blame politicians. This is not. It's just part of the story. Of course, they have their own. Role. But actually, food prices are going up globally. In the United States, food prices from 2010 to present, about like 14 years, the price of rice has gone by 60%. So I'm not saying politicians don't play a role in food prices, but there is also another dimension we look at. The current food prices increase we are seeing is the result of climate change. The crop yield is decreasing. So there is scarcity, which results in food price shortage. So in the end, I just want you to take action, be climate change conscious, be advocates of climate change, know the choices individually you can do to contribute. At the individual level, you can make some changes to contribute to climate change. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Our next segment of the program is group facilitated discussion, which is going to be led by Professor B.
All right. So we're going to have a dialogue on some of the important part of this discussion. So what will happen is we have so many questions. Of course, I believe many of you here will have many questions as well. So how it's going to be is, we'll throw questions. And these questions are questions that we're supposed to discuss at length. We discuss at length in such a way that each and every one of us will be convinced and also understand a way forward on how to handle these problems. So here we have a question I would like us to discuss. Not only those that are limited, it's not limited to people that are seated here, please. You have, if you can contribute to this problem, please, you can raise your hand and contribute. So what are some promising solutions to adapt and mitigate climate change in the 21st century? What are those promising? We have so many, we can think of so many ways to adapt. I've mentioned different ways to adapt based on what? Different stress and based on problems that are what? That are limited to some continents. So, but what would be the general ways that we can, or what would be the most promising way? We know we have some common issues between here and there and other places. One of the common issue is our reliance on carbon emission, machineries, vehicles, motorcycles, generators, and so on. This is one of the problems. So, what will be the most promising solution for us to adapt and mitigate? Yes.
Use of renewable energy. Well, like you said, we use a lot of machinery that emits carbon dioxide. So let's say now we switch to machinery that are like we use that we can use like solar powered vehicles or solar powered vehicles. Using that we emit less carbon dioxide, therefore causing less damage to the ozone layer.
Very well. Nobody's clapping. This is a very good response. But these renewable energy reliant machineries are very expensive. And if we are to look at the problem we're facing, we'll have to also look at our socio-economic status, right? So if we are to move completely to this renewable energy, how many percentage of the population of Nigeria do you think can afford to move to this renewable energy? The percentage is something I believe each and every one of us can think of, right? If we are to move, we know how poverty is always going up, right? So what will be the most promising solution that will be effective to the majority of our population?
Also, we have to like participant want to contribute. So,
Excellent.
we have two or more questions from participants. We have
This is someone's comment. Farouk Ahmed is saying we can also mitigate climate change by developing carbon capture technology. So that's Farouk Ahmed. I don't have other questions at the moment, but as they come up, I'm going to read them.
Okay.
I think one of the ways to mitigate the issue of climate change, I think probably most probably would be kind of educating people more because while we're talking about it, the seminar,
this seminar happening more often in more rural places. And the program of education they kind of bring it to the forefront for the topics are discussed. So,
A very good response.
So there's a question. So Fatima Mukhtar Merami is asking, what is the effect of climate change on our biodiversity? So that's her question.
Can I answer that? I think an answer on the first question as well. Thank you. So I'm actually a lecturer in architecture, Department of Architecture. So architects build structures, and in the process of building, well, they design structures which are constructed. So in the process of construction, we are responsible for a lot of loss of biodiversity. We get virgin land, and most of the time we clear it and we put structures, a structure on it. So what can architects do? And then the question is, from the second person, I'm providing two. From the architecture perspective, we can practice something that is called regenerative architecture. This is a process where you design buildings that give back to the environment more than they're taking. So if you go to a fresh piece of land, then there are going to be native trees, there are going to be animals and insects, even rodents there. It is your job to design in such a way that after you can cover the building with grass. That way you are giving back the CO2 that you took, you're giving back the oxygen that you took out when you were getting the site ready. You giving green area for native plants and native animals to prosper. You might not want snakes there, I understand, or mosquitoes, but at least you give an opportunity for other birds and even termites to flourish. So regenerative architecture is one way that architects can practice architecture without adding to that loss of biodiversity.
Dr. Merari, I hope she answered your question. All right, we'll move to. Okay.
Good afternoon, everyone. So, from the point of view of entrepreneurship, we should begin to think about changes, especially at household level, changes in consumption, traditional carbonized products, changing them to clean tech solutions. There's a talk around clean cooking. So commercializing such technologies can help in this adaptation. Changing consumption, changing production, changing processes, commercializing them. Gradually, we get to that level where we have cleaner solutions around. Right? If someone said something about renewable energy, yes, he said it's expensive. Yes, for now it is expensive, but we're believing that when we get to that level where we have these standalone units commercialized to a larger quantity, eventually it will bring down the price because the natural concept of demand and supply, right? So we have problems here. So when we have so much demand, and then in fact, in developing such clean tech solutions, we always talk about using local materials. So looking inwards. So in fact, the ripple effect is huge. You're going to be saving foreign exchange, you're going to be improving GDP, improving the economy, especially at rural levels, because we're talking about integrated systems. Most often, when you talk about, when you say something about, when you discuss renewable energy, you're not talking about probably just solar power, or you most often talk about integrated system, how to deal with different solutions at one time. So eventually, we start the conversations, let's start making changes, and eventually we'll get to that level.
Very good response.
Good day all. I am Dr. Shaku Wazama from Social Department. I just want to contribute on how to mitigate the adaptive strategies of climate change. We have natural factors and we have human factors to this aspect. We can see that the human factors are alarming. Let me give you an example with Kano, Azare, Maiduguri highway. When the road was to be constructed, there was no proper environmental impact assessment. I was with Kiawa this week and last month for a climate change survey of Akasa, Jigawa State. Akasa is agro-climate residence in semi-arid zones for landscapes in northeast and also northwest. He made us understand that there are some culverts constructed by this company that constructed that road. The culverts are too narrow. Water from Katabo, Jamari, every year used to flow that area. And from there, the carrying capacity cannot pass through that road. And it flows mostly to farm produce. That is how crops are being destroyed annually. And this year one is devastating. And from Maiduguri, the Alo Dam, which NAMED and climate experts advised the state governor then 30 years ago, 1994, when the flood happened, I was there during my undergraduate. Let me tell you, they said 30 years to come, this thing will happen, and it repeated itself. And the Alo Dam, apart from the Lake Chad Basin, the University of India is taking care of that one. But apart from that, ecological funds were voted to mitigate the Alo Dam from last year to this year. But nothing was done about it. Nothing was done about it. Government just allow it, and nothing was done. And we have to blame the government for this flood that happened this year. Farmers now, all their crops have been destroyed, and they can't have anything this year. And the government, even the palliative they are giving them, cannot reach the grassroots areas. The community are lying out here. Only the will get in the cities, and they will give people in the cities. They will just carry minute, just a mega quantity to the village because they don't know anything. But it's not good. The other aspect of it is that the farmers have developed mitigation strategies. They are practicing crop rotation system, and they are planting cover crops in some areas this year to mitigate this climate change. Because they will harvest some crops, let's say cocoyam, bene seed, and the resistant crop like millet in those areas. The flood does not affect those crops as such. But other crops like groundnut, even right now, even beans is being affected by this, this period of this, by this flood. So I think we should blame the government for this. We should not be blaming individuals, the farmers and other people. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
So I have Abubakar Yusuf Noble Solutions online. I think they would like to ask a question. Can you unmute yourself, Abubakar Yusuf? Okay, before you do that, I have a few comments here. Someone is saying there should be government willingness to make regulations that promote eco-friendly products and production. That's- So I don't think here. So Abubakar Yusuf and Noble Solutions, can you send in your questions via the chat and then I can read it out for you. Thank you.
All right. I want to go to our nations after the event, like I said, 3 years. So each and every one of us are expected to use the Zoom link that was sent to your email to sign in so that the system can capture your attendance. Because physically we don't have attendance here. So those online already have their attendance. So we're encouraging you to please follow the Zoom link and then log on to the Zoom so that your data will be recorded when it's come to the regional facility. Please don't forget to do that. Thank you.
Okay, it's like the last speaker has said, there's, a lot of blame sharing going on. The message I want to pass across is, as individuals, everybody has a role to play in climate change. And it is about, somebody said, raising awareness. Do you have an idea of what climate change is? Do you have an idea of what causes it? Do you have an idea of what it causes? But I think most important is you have to start thinking about what can you do about it. At the lowest level is once you go past a room, go out of a room, switch off the light. If you're not using water, switch it off. That's at the lowest level. However, everybody has something to give. My dear Shulamite said, we have to start thinking about products locally made. Who is going to make it? You. Who's going to design the product? You. Make it a business for yourself. Think about designs in line with sustainable development goals. Take action. For me, I think, you should look at yourself first and see what you can do for climate change. That should be the very first thing you should be thinking about.
Thank you, Prof. Okay, I will go to the next question. Next question says, how can technology help address climate change? How can technology help address climate change? How can technology help address climate change?
Good afternoon. I want to thank the resource persons. Climate change is a very, and the sponsors as well. Well, climate change is a very important subject, and it's a good thing that we are talking about it now. And I'm going to speak from the field of international relations. I've always been interested in climate change, and I always approach it from security aspect of it. So the question says, how can technology address climate change? I would argue against the issue of mitigation and focus more on adaptation, because from what Dr. Moni said, he made it very clear that whether we like it or not, climate change has come and the predictions are already happening. I mean, half of Maldives is already under the water. So for technology, there are different things that we can look at. We are looking at food production in terms of agriculture. That's something that we can also reflect on. Now, I don't know much about the science behind it, but people are not producing food without soil. So it's quite interesting. It's not harmful to you. I know you're already thinking of GMOs. So that is one other way. The other way again, and this is really where it might be a little bit complicated. I'm speaking from the national security perspective in terms of adaptation. The military uses burns a lot of energy, or the big armor tanks, making all these guns and bombs and things like that. Definitely we are releasing greenhouse gas emission and also further polluting the ozone layer. So I think one of the key ways in terms of adaptation is to utilize green-friendly equipment or machinery is very important. Logistics being a key aspect of military use. Another very important one for technology is, okay, I think I don't want to use much of your time, so I think I'll just stop. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. We have another.
So, still responding to agriculture and climate change. So I know with the issue with Kogi State and with flooding there. So I also know that there are lots of talks about dry season farming now. So for Kogi State, so migrating, I think, away from seasonal production, like just insisting on growing crops during the rainy season. In fact, rainy season farming in Kogi State should be a no-no for now. It should be dry season, so when we have such dry season farming, then we have solar powered irrigation systems. Now the problem too with solar powered irrigation systems is that they are expensive for local farmers to be able to pay for. So what stakeholders are doing is they cluster farmers. So when they cluster farmers, they are able to provide such irrigation systems for hectares of land, and then it's easier to control. You can control even the weather and all of that. So with that, it's possible to do the adaptation.
Thank you very much.
So for how technology can improve climate change,
I think there is something known as the climate modeling and data analysis. And that is basically using AI to predict some climatic, patterns, as well as, able to mitigate some risks. So I think technology will come in place because, like everyone has highlighted, the problem is actually here. So it's how to deal with it. So I think technology can come in place by using this modeling structure to be able to make some predictions. And when those predictions come in place, then you can now see how to best deal with the problem.
This is a very good one, which I would say I have applied modeling to solve, to predict, and also to check whether the values are both threshold in some places. There was a research I conducted in 2018, which was based on modeling. I was able to uncover the carbon emissions in places. Yes, and how they were within some and above threshold in some other places. All right.
There's something we do in applies to everything. In terms of using active systems, you have to exhaust passive systems. Dr. Amy said something earlier about security and how you can use she called them friendly technology to make guns and bombs and whatnot. What if we didn't go to war in the first place? So as a sustainable person, that's the way you should start thinking. Conserve the idea first. Don't do it if it needs energy or it needs water, but you don't have to do it and you'll be okay, then don't do it. So for example, us architects, we can design in such a way that we will use natural lighting so that we don't even have to switch on the light in the first place. So I want this to enter our psyche, that if there's something that we can do without active systems, actually that is the best way for sustainability. Practice in such a way that the need for technology or energy doesn't even arise if you don't need it. If you need it, then go for it. I hope you understand what I'm saying. So conserve first, rather than go to active systems. So my message is no more using technology to solve problems that a more natural way will not work. I am for technology, don't get me wrong. But you only bring in, for example, you bring in renewable energy if you have exhausted using natural light. And then you use renewable energy to power the lighting system. If you can trap rainwater and use it, why do you want to put in a solar powered borehole when you can simply trap rainfall and use it? I hope you understand what I mean. So go for the more natural ways. They are still better for the environmental than going for the technology. Technology comes after you've exhausted natural ways.
And just to add on AI, the contribution of what AI can do to address climate change actually is a lot. AI is used for prediction. It's a very good predictor of events. The recent flood in Maiduguri, for example, could have been predicted. And we have researchers in our center that are actually doing research on fraud prediction. So AI is really important to addressing climate change. Another area where AI is important is in optimizing energy and optimizing resource uses. Now, currently, of course, consumption of energy, if you can reduce the consumption, you can then reduce the generation, which is mainly by fossil fuels, at least in Nigeria. So ways to optimize or to reduce electricity consumption. AI is playing a lot of role in that aspect.
Good afternoon. When I saw technology, the first thing I thought someone would say is awareness. Because technology has got to work into one level each. So without awareness, how do we even do this climate change? So I think technology will help a great deal in making people get to know what is climate change, how to tackle it, what to do, where to do. And apart from that, with technology, it makes things easier, information easier to be transmitted. So I think when it comes to technology, awareness should come first. I want to say a bit on AI, but Oga has said it, because it makes things easier, it makes things come very close to you. But you think it's far, AI brings it closer, makes it easier. So when it comes to technology, first is awareness. We need to know climate change for which handle climate change. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So we're going to take our last question. Question says, How can we balance economic growth with climate sustainability? How can we balance economic growth with climate sustainability?
So sustainability as a concept by definition is balancing three things: the environment, the people, and the economy. So you cannot, because you want to make money or you want to do a project, you cannot destroy an environment. So lots of biodiversity and so you can't, it's not sustainable. Because as we're seeing, we are hurting the earth. Earth is coming back at us. It is fighting back. That's what is just happening. You know, we're using the earth too much, not the way it was designed to be. You can say it's a natural process. Yes, this has happened before, by the way. It's not the first time we're having climate change. It's a history of the earth. That's what killed the dinosaurs. In theory, I wasn't there. I'm not that old, right? But so you cannot destroy the environment, and then you have to make money. In the business sense, needs to make sense. And then the last one is people need to accept it. They need to be aware. They need to agree, and they need to be accepting of whatever proposal you are making, or business, or product that you're selling. So you need to balance these three things before anything becomes sustainable. In terms of climate change, you have to think about something called life cycle cost. When we spoke about renewables, my uncle, you said renewables are expensive. Yes. When you go to buy them, it's called capital cost. It is expensive as a system. What makes sense is what I will answer. One of the solutions to
I'd like to add on what Prof said.
In 2013, in 2013, I developed a buffer layer of a solar panel using zinc oxide and zinc sulfate, which wasn't much efficient then. But nowadays, people are using more advanced technology to build very efficient solar panels. But the problem is for us to have the will to patronize our own product. When you go to market, you will be looking for products made by China, made by America, and so on. In Nigeria, we're producing microchip companies, resistors, capacitors, and so on. But if you go to market, you hardly find those products. Yes, because people are not patronizing, so they are not even there.
Awareness.
Yes, eh?
Awareness.
Awareness, yes, awareness is also one. Yes, so if we have the will to patronize our own product, at the same time, we're going to encourage, we're going to contribute to our economy, and then it's going to be cheaper because we don't have to pay for shipping or anything, right? So this is also a very good one.
Okay, so also from the entrepreneurship point of view, we see sustainability from two angles. So one, raising socially responsible corporate businesses, and then social entrepreneurs. So for socially responsible businesses, you see them changing processes, changing technology. So if probably before now you were using materials that are prone to, carbonation or whatever, you want to change. So many businesses are doing that retrofitting and all of that, just so that they can reduce their carbon footprints, and also reduction in movement, travel, movement of their workers, movement of materials, buying from home, supply source, all of those little changes. Yes, it will balance out. You still make the money, but then you would have reduced your carbon footprints. And then also for social entrepreneurs too. So where there's a lot of call for awareness that we're saying to get people be interested in being social entrepreneurs, because then you're going to be solving climate problems while doing business. It's you solving societal problem using business models. So you see, in this way you're balancing it out. You're instigating economic development and still be able to mitigate the climate.
Very good one. Thank you.
very much. I just want to dwell on artisanal and small scale miners. You mentioned your presentation of miners. These miners, they are looking at the cost and benefit of what they are doing. If you go through Kaduna, Biribari, Udugodo, Isama, Aziz, you see them, they know the consequences and they are aware of it. But my problem is that many of them die beneath the whole job. You see miners if you go from here to that other door, on the ground, and the soil will collapse on them. And that's how they will get there. You see men. Once you go there, you see men of them. They can't go and remove those crops because it's dangerous. So they are causing more harm than good also to the environment. Environmental degradation, you see only erosion. Look at the picture we just watch. But even the one in Zamfara also, lead poisoning, kill many farmers. Mostly during dry season, you see them go into mining. Most of them they are farmers. So they know the danger. But the problem is the money they are getting from this gold. Some companies from China, from even just here in Nigeria, do come to such rural areas to buy this gold. You see them, they will refine the gold, they are washing the gold. I witnessed it 2014, 2015. When you see with my former pastor, where I came from. So when there is a geologist for research, you see them collecting because of small quantity of gold that will give them amount of money. They want to risk their life and die. So no. We talk to them, they will tell you you don't want your video. They say we are just book people, we are writing books. So we don't know how to mitigate this, how to tell them to stop it. That's the government enacted law to stop deforestation. If you go to that, the same delivery and as you see, once you are arrested, you be prosecuted because they are cutting trees to find their way for this mining activity. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We are not clapping anymore. All right, any other contribution? Thank you very much for all our contributors. All of you here present, you are appreciated, and I hope what we have learned through our discussion today is going to reflect in our life, daily life, from now henceforth. Thank you very much for being here. Thank you.
Thank you very much for listening. And, this is a very wonderful discussion. I believe we have learned a lot. Whether from the IT, we have less to say in relation to climate change issues. As part of the requirement for this program, each and every one of you here present physically, like I mentioned earlier, you have to log into the Zoom. Be sure that you are part of the Zoom so that we can have your details. When it comes to generating certificates, we can be able to have you there. Okay? And if you're having difficulties signing into the Zoom, link that was sent to your email, please, we have our technical team here that can support you. Anyone having difficulties connecting? Okay, please, any one of you that is having issues signing to the Zoom, so we have our technical team that can support you. We have Ibafi here, we have our that can give you support to signing into your Zoom. Okay, please don't forget, it's very important. And also, I want to briefly summarize the essence of this project. Now, the essence of Green Gaming Project, like Shafiu mentioned during his presentation, this is a project that includes a lot of universities around the world, as well as NGOs. So the essence of the project is to address climate change using technology, which is called gamification. So as part of the project, we have another segment of the project that is called IOOC, which is a kind of an online program that you can be able to register by yourself, take the courses on demand, that is on your own. But this is the first segment of the program whereby you are expected to either join here with us physically or you join using Zoom. So I hope everyone have signed in to Zoom. Okay, let me see your hand if you cannot log in. Okay, please. Both of them are resolved. Also, after the program, we are going to have a group photograph outside. Yes, you have a problem? Sorry? Check the Google Classroom. Or you check your university emails. Then if you are from the NGOs, I believe it has been shared with you in their group. Okay? But I think, can you help me please? Share the link.
Someone is asking when is not.
Okay,
Someone is asking when is the session tomorrow starting? Is it the same time as?
Yes, tomorrow is starting by 12 o'clock. And also, as part of the requirement, we expect you to come here tomorrow for the final segment of the program so that you can be able to have your certificate. So we have attendance, we have Zoom attendance, and also we have the one that we collected using the Google form. Also check your email. There's a free OMP survey that you need to fill in. And also after the event, another link will be shared with you to understand what you have learned so far during this event. Okay? Thank you. If you have anything to
Okay. So we've already seen how climate change is a threat to humanity as we know it. So even if it doesn't affect us, it's likely affecting somebody close to us or in our generations to come or in other locations. I know we lost a lot of people, even this year in East Flow, in Adamawa nearby. So climate change is happening and we need to find ways that suit our own talents and capabilities to take action. I believe that is what this is about. You are here most likely not because of climate change, but because you are into technology and gaming and AI, I understand. But it is towards adapting or mitigating climate change. So at least you understand what climate change can do, and then we're hoping that you will do everything you can to tap into the sustainable development goals and take action against climate change using what you have in you, in your talent. So I guess we'll see you tomorrow. Thank you so much for coming.
All right, thank you very much. Let's have a group photograph outside. Thank you. Outside.
Oh, outside.
Let's have